Hey everybody, welcome to the GMG review. Today we're taking a look at Warhammer 40k Kill Team, the Critical Ops, Tac Ops, and Mission card pack. So this is an official update to the Kill Team game experience from Kill Team 2021. It's got new missions, updated Tac Ops, and game references, and a way for matched play setup of your games and objectives. So this is kind of like, what's the best way I could describe this? This is kind of like a chapter-approved grand tournament pack for Kill Team. And if you're not familiar with what that is in Warhammer 40k, it's basically, if you're going to play this competitively in a tournament, here's everything you need to play right in one spot, updating the game. Now, if you don't care about that, you probably get some quality of life improvements out of this, but if you're not playing match play a lot, you're playing lots of Spec Ops missions and stuff, don't worry about these. They're not a big deal. They're cool to have. And it does update a few things, and you could get them, but I don't think that this is entirely essential to the gameplay experience if you're focusing on narrative play. But it does update match play. Now, what do you get in here? So I should go over the contents first. So first things first, you might have noticed there's a size change. It's gone from standard Magic card size to being a Tarot size. Now, fear not, you can still get sleeves for these. I buy them from board game sleeves. I've actually already bought these in the past for A Song of Ice and Fire. They use Tarot size cards for a lot of things. And I've already sleeved here some matte sleeves for my faction Tac Ops, right? So you got your 3 faction Tac Ops, and you have all the, oh geez, I've already dropped on the ground. And you have all the new Tac Ops in black, and then these down here are the board setups and objectives in orange, right? And some quick reference too for like the map key and your actual missions. And a quick ref card. So 3 sections in here. Now the one thing I am most excited about, weirdly enough, is you get scouting cards as well. So you don't have to hide dice in your hand. You just pick a card and then be like, I'm revealing at the same time recon. I would have really liked to, I mean, you kind of each as a player need one of these. So I guess I can see why they didn't put 2 sets of these in here, but you need 2 sets of these critical op cards, really, because you need to have your own decks for your secondary. Like, if you're not using the same, Tac Ops, you could get away with 1 set, and if there was 2 sets of these, you could get away with 1 set, but you do kind of need to have 2 sets to play. And then these are all your new Tac Ops. So you have security, we have seek and destroy, we have recon, and we got infiltration, right? So 4 different sets. And they're color-coded, which is actually really handy for when you're trying to sort through them, which are which. All right, so it reprints the match play game sequence with you in the card pack, which is kind of cool. This is a bit like, this is just literally the match play. There's no changes here. It's the same thing. Determine mission and map, set up the, actually in this case, you determine mission and map by actually shuffling them. So there's the 8 match cards, plus the key, right? And then you would shuffle your A, B, and C mission cards. So you go like this, if you're randomly generating one, right? And be like, my mission is gonna be loot. Operatives can perform the following mission action. Loot, an operative can perform this action while it controls an objective marker that has not been looted during the turn. If it does so, that objective marker has been looted during this turn. Each objective marker can be looted a maximum of 3 times, and then each time you perform a loot action, you score VP. Pretty standard mission action. And then you would shuffle your objectives. And there's I think a bunch of different ways of doing this on the back, right? So either random missions, one we're doing right now, a veto mission where you both bid to see what the mission's gonna be, and then a control mission. The bid system, you bid basically 10 tokens that you'd bid for mission, map, attacker, defender, and first initiative. Constructed if you're an event, and then free selection, play, and this is the Tac Op ones. Random Tac Ops, constructed random, free selection, acquired, or a bid system. And that's the idea, is that you decide which of these you're gonna do before you start. But if you're just generating one at random, which is the format I'm showing you here, you would just shuffle and be like, okay, step 1, we're doing boundaries, and you should have the table already set up. That's the thing you've predetermined, is your terrain's already down, right? And then you've rolled up your missions here. Now we place our objectives, and we follow the rest of the standard mission stuff. So all it really does is give you like a procedural way of doing it. So you put your board down, you just set up all your terrain, then you flip a mission, flip the actual like deployment for your objectives and stuff, And then it's standard as from there. Set up objective markers in kill zone, determine attacker defender, select a team, select Tac Ops, select equipment, set up barricades, set up operatives, scouting, and you can use the cards for that now. And then play the battle. And then into the battle, it's the same scoring as normal match play. So let's take a look at the actual cards themselves. So I like that nice procedural random mission generation system, which is the big primary in here. I'm not gonna get too much into like the bid system. Like the bidding is with tokens. Like you have 10 tokens and you have to decide how many you're putting in your hand to be like, I wanna choose this or I wanna choose that. The veto one, you roll off attacker and defender, and then the attacker takes the mission cards and the defender takes the map cards. The attacker chooses 2 missions and puts them forward. The defender selects 1 to use. The defender chooses 3 map cards. And the attacker selects 1 and puts them forward. Defender selects their drop zone and setting up the objective markers and kill zone is normal, right? So like, and then if the players are playing a series of games each other, the winner of the previous game selects 1 of the mission cards that was not used in the previous battle. So you have to play 3 different ones each game, and you play 3 missions over the course of it. And the bid is you bid tokens basically to try and win what the mission is and stuff. So you have to hang on to tokens so you have at least 1 bid. Random for your Tac Ops. Each player shuffles 27 Tac Ops cards, all archetypes and their faction Tac Ops, and draws 2 cards from the deck, selects 1 and discards the others. Constructed random. Each player builds a deck of 6 Tac Op cards. That's the constructed random is like the standard format we would have seen in match play. You build your 6 Tac Op cards, then shuffle up to 3. And then you draw 2, pick, draw 2, pick, draw 2, pick. That's the standard format for match play it's on right now. The random where you just shuffle everything and draw is crazy. All archetypes and their faction Tac Ops, because you'd be doing ones that your team can't even do. Free selection, just pick 3 from the deck of 27, and acquired, the players use 1 deck of 27 Tac Op cards. They shuffle the deck and deal out 6 in a row. The attacker selects 1 Tac Op from the row and then adds a random Tac Op. So constructed randoms, and then bids the same. You bid for them. Acquired is probably going to be the most, constructed random is probably going to be most common because it's the way that it's done right now. And you can build it to your team's archetypes. So let's take a look at the actual comparative Tac Ops. Now that we've constructed a mission. So we'll start with a recon and we'll compare them to the current ones. So new one, Surge Forward. This is a brand new one. They're not in here. Reveal this Tac Op in the target reveal step of any turning point. At the end of the turning point, the total APL of friendly operatives within red of your opponent's drop zone is 4 or more. You score VPs. Typically 2 guys need to be staying within red to score 1, and then if you achieve it again, you score 2. So it's get to your opponent's half of the table and be within 6 of their opponent's zone. That's one's going to be popular because it's hard to contest if you're just sneaking. Courier, also new. Actually, all of these are new, never mind. Yeah, all these are new. Courier is if you can reveal this Tac Op in the target reveal step of any turning point. When you do so, select 1 friendly operative. At the end of any turning point, if that operative is within red of the opponent's drop zone, score 1. And if you achieve this in the subsequent turning points, basically, then you get it. So, but you have to like pick a guy to do it. And it's not like where you could just be like, these guys ran forward and we took care of business. This is, I gotta nominate someone and then they have to still be alive. So Courier is basically an easier to accomplish version of Surge Forward, but it also means that you have to call out the person that's doing it so that they can potentially get hunted down by your opponent. Outflank, you can reveal this Tac Op in the target reveal of any turning point. At the end of the turning point, if friendly operatives control both neutral zone edges, this is kind of similar to Triangulate. If you achieve the first condition any turn afterwards. So basically, you have to control the neutral zone ends. Friendly operatives control a neutral edge if the total APL of friendly operatives within blue of it is greater than enemy operatives, and operatives within 6 of their own drop zone cannot contribute. So you have to get to the middle of the board, the neutral edges basically, and have more APL on the sides. And you reveal at the start of the turn. Slightly easier than Triangulate. Secure Vantage, you can reveal this Tac Op in the target reveal step of any turning point. At the end of any turning point, if you control a vantage point that's more than blue from your drop zone, you score a VP. And I think that one is, where is it? Vantage. If you achieve this victory condition any turn afterwards. So basically you have to be in a vantage afterwards and it doesn't cost any actions anymore. So most of these they've made significantly easier. This one is way easier because it's not a 2 AP action to do the vantages anymore. just control vantage point. You control it if you have more AP on the vantage point than your opponent. Recover item, which is retrieval. Reveal this tac op in the target reveal of the first turning point. Place one of your item tokens within your opponent's territory. The pickup action performed on it. At the end of any turning point, if a friendly operative controls it, you score VP. If you achieve the first condition at the end of any subsequent turning point, score VP. So let's go grab. And then plant transponder, which is plant signal beacon. They've changed the names. This one still costs AP, but it's only 1 AP now. Reveal this in the first turning point of, in the turning point of any turning point after the first. If a friendly operative performs the plant transponder mission action, score VP. If you achieve the first condition in any subsequent turns, score VP. An operative can perform this action while they're wholly within their opponent's territory and more than white from terrain features. Ignore terrain features that have the insignificant trait. If it does so, place one of your transponder tokens underneath the operative as close as possible to the center of its base. An operative cannot perform this action if it's within engagement range of enemy operatives or within red of another transponder token. So you're just trying to place it. And it's within engagement range, not within one, because some things don't engage. So it cleaned up a little bit and made easier with 1 AP, so you can still move and do it, which is nice. All right, into the damagey ones. The ever popular Seek and Destroy. All right, so most of these have the same-ish names. I mixed in my tac ops to these. I gotta take them out. All right, because I use these a lot. So route, you reveal this target tac op in the target reveal step of any turning point. If an enemy operative is incapacitated by a friendly operative, and that friendly operative is within red of your opponent's drop zone, when it does so, you score 1 BP. Yeah, it's exactly the same. Route looks the same. Rob and Ransack. Reveal this tac op when an enemy operative is incapacitated by a friendly operative within its engagement range, and there are more than 3 from enemy operatives. Yeah, they just changed black to engagement range. Score VP, and if at the end of the battle you achieve the first condition and your friendly operative has not been incapacitated, you get another one. This is my old Robin Ransack, you can see, because it says your marksman still on it. They're basically the same, yeah. Eliminate guards. This one's new. You can reveal this tac op at the target reveal step of any turning point. Once you do so at the end of each target reveal step, select an objective marker in the center line or within your opponent's territory, then select one enemy operative within white of it to be the guard. If the enemy guard you selected to be the guard this turning point is incapacitated, then you score 1. You have to kill them at that turning point though. And if you do it again later on in the game, you get 1. So it's just pick somebody within range of an objective and kill them. And they have to be in their half of the table or the center line. Which is kind of like challenge, I guess. A little bit, but not quite. Headhunter, basically the same. Yep. Kill the leader for VP. If you score it in the first, second turn point, it's exactly the same. Assassinate target, which is kind of execution. You must reveal this target during the target reveal step of the first turning point. Your opponent selects one of their operatives, and they pick, not you. If they're killed, they're worth 2. If at the end of the battle that operative has not been incapacitated but has fewer than half its wounds remaining, you get a VP. So they can be on the run. This one's neat because it's not like, it's if you get it right away, you get 2, but as long as you wound him down to half, you're down to 1. And then no more Deadly Marksman. It's Executioner. In a shooting game, I'm kind of glad they got rid of Deadly Marksman because it was not fun to play against. You can reveal this tac op in the target reveal step of any turning point. When you do so, select one friendly operative to be your Executioner. At the end of each target reveal step, select one enemy operative to be executed for the turning point. If the enemy operative you selected to be executed for the turning point is incapacitated by your Executioner at that turning point, get a VP. If you achieve it again, get another VP. So you gotta pick somebody to be the killer. And you pick the operative that you're trying to kill. Yeah, so once your Executioner is revealed, basically he keeps picking guys he's going to call out and try and kill from then on. All right, Security. Again, a lot of these have the same names, but subtle differences. There we go. We're looking for Secure Seize Ground. You must reveal this tac op in the target reveal step of the first turning point. Select a terrain feature more than a blue from your drop zone that includes any parts with the heavy trait. At the end of the battle, if friendly operatives control it, score 1. If you achieve the first condition, there are no enemy operatives within 1 of it. And the total APL of friendly operatives is 4 or more, score 1. So there's an APL achievement now. And friendly operatives control it if they're within 1, and the total APL of friendly operatives is greater than that of the enemies. Yeah, it's basically the same. It's reworded slightly, but that's it. It's the same. Hold them back. This one's kind of hold the line. Reveal this tac op in the target reveal step of any turning point after the first. At the end of any turning point, if there are no enemy operatives wholly within your territory, score a VP. If you achieve the first condition at the end of any subsequent turn, score a VP. So keep people off. And so it's not within red of your drop zone anymore, it's your territory. And territory lines, you may have noticed, are pretty much half the board, right? So it's the not dark, so the drop zone and then territories. Central control. I think this one's basically the same. You can reveal this tac op in the target reveal step of any turning point after the first. At the end of that turning point, if the total APL from the operative is within blue of the center of the kill zone and not on a vantage point is greater than the enemy, it scores 1. Yeah, they're the same. Exactly the same. Protect assets. I think it's basically the same. Reveal this tac op in the target reveal step of any turning point. At the end of any turning point, if 2 or more enemy operatives were incapacitated while within white of an objective marker during the turn, score VP. But not while carrying objectives anymore. Yeah, and or while carrying objectives. So now it's just if they're within range of objective marker. And if you score it again in any subsequent turning point, score VP. And I think that's probably because for the purposes of this, it is basically the same, because for the purpose of this, I don't think there's any yeah, there's no pickups, I don't think. Capture, secure, loot. Yeah, it's just, there's no actual pickup and holds. Yeah, I don't think you carry it. Each objective marker controls captured by your team. Yep, they just stay under your control. So there's no pickup and run arounds, so it doesn't need to be in there. Which makes sense. And then secure center line, which is a brand new one. You can reveal this tac op in the target reveal step of any turning point after the first. At the end of any turning point, if the total APL of friendly operatives in the center line and not on a vantage point is greater than the enemy, you score 1. Achieve this in the first condition at the end of any subsequent turn, score 1. So hold the middle line. And all the deployments have a middle line. And then escort operative, you can reveal this tac op in the target reveal step of the first or second turn. Select a friendly operative. If that friendly operative is wholly within your opponent's territory, score a VP. And if that friendly operative is within a red of your opponent's kill zone edge, you can score a VP. So basically, first turn, don't say who it is and dash 2 guys in. And then second turn, pick one of them that's not going to die to be the one that's doing the dash, and you'll score both VP at the same time. But it's at the end of the battle, right? So you want to reveal it as late as you can, and then you got to hide for the rest of the game. That means plant banner is gone, protect assets is gone because you're not carrying anything, and then damage mitigate limitation is also gone for securities. All right, it's just infiltrations. Securities are there. Stock targets new. Seize defenses is new. Gather surveillance, implants, subversive control, install device. I think they're actually all new. Capture hostage and infiltrate, sabotage, upload viral code, interloper behind enemy lines, and oh, implant's still there. Sweet. All right, this is one. At least the name's the same. Some of these, again, they're versions of older ones. Implant, you can reveal this tac op when a friendly operative would strike an enemy operative in combat. Instead of inflicting damage, the enemy operative from that strike, you can implant that operative. They don't lose any wounds, you can score VP. And if 2 or more are implanted as above, score 1. So it's exactly the same. Install device, I think is upload viral code. Pretty much. Yeah, I think it's basically upload viral code. Reveal this tac op when a friendly operative performs the install device mission action. So you have to say when you're doing it, you just reveal it then. At the end of any turning point, if your device token has been in the kill zone for the whole of that turning point, score VP. So basically it has to stay there. If you achieve the first condition at the end of any subsequent turn, score VP. An operative can perform this action while it controls an objective marker in your opponent's territory or on the center line. Place your device token on the objective marker, remove it if an enemy operative controls the objective marker. An operative cannot perform this action if your device is in the kill zone. So basically you can put one down and you gotta hold it. I think that's basically the same. Now, upload viral is just like push it twice. I mean, it's similar, but it's not exactly the same. No, it's relatively different. Subversive control, you can reveal this tac op in the target reveal step of the third or fourth turning point. At the end of the third turning point, if friendly operatives control an objective marker in your opponent's territory, not in the center line, score 1. At the end of the fourth turning point, if a friendly operative controls objective marker in your opponent's territory, not in the center line. So that's sort of interlope or behind enemy lines, maybe? If one or more friendly operatives are wholly within your opponent's drop zone or more than... Nope, that was just get behind. It's kind of behind enemy lines. Interlope requires an action, and hostage requires an action. So it's kind of behind enemy lines. Gather surveillance. Reveal this tac op in the target reveal step of any turning point. Once you do so, at the end of each target reveal step, select one friendly operative to gather surveillance for that turning point. At the end of any turning point, if the friendly operative you selected to gather surveillance for that turning point is a conceal order, is wholly within your opponent's territory and is more than blue for enemy, score VP. So that's actually more behind enemy lines. If you achieve this first condition, any subsequent turn, score another one. Yeah, so gather surveillance is more behind enemy lines than the other one is. Than maybe interloper. Seize defenses, these ones are new. You can reveal this tac op in the target reveal step of any turning point. At the end of any turning point, if you control an opponent's barricade, score 1. So the barricades they placed. And if you achieve the first condition of the score of any other round, score 1. Friendly operatives control if you're within black of it and you have more APL than enemies do. So yeah, seize your barricades, I guess. Cool. Barricades become objectives, which is cool, but like random because the opponent places them. And then stock target, you reveal this tac op at the target reveal of any turning point. Once you do so, at the end of each target reveal step, select one enemy operative to be stocked for that turning point. At the end of any turning point of a friendly operative with a conceal order is within blue but not within engagement range of the enemy operative, you selected to be stocked for that turn, you score VP. If you achieve the first condition at the end of any subsequent turning point, score VP. Yeah, so basically just run around behind somebody. So it feels like overall, one, they're matching these objective cards to this setup style, right? So like, because there's only 3 primary mission types, you're not picking up stuff, you're not like trying to like go and push buttons anywhere apart from the ones that are on those pre-prescribed maps. These needed to change to match that like play style. And 2, a lot of them that were way too hard got made easier, which is fine, and which is, I think, completely appropriate because we've had these for almost 2 years now, a year and a half-ish, as far as like secondaries go, and some of them just never got played. Like the secure Vantage Point never got played. Almost nobody played Infiltrate, I don't think. Like the infiltration ones, you didn't play as much. Recon got played quite a bit, because the ones that were easy to do, Seek and Destroy was easy to do, because you're already trying to kill your opponent over the course of the game to keep them from achieving their objectives, right? Security was relatively easy to do because it was about standing in a place and holding objective points, and very often these 2 things coincide with the primary objective of standing next to the objective markers and having your opponent not be there. So these like fell into the game mechanics really well, whereas these ones didn't tend to, Recon and Infiltration, because they had you leave the ground floor a lot of the time, they had you stand above ground or do things far from the enemy. So you need to be rewarded for doing that while still doing the primaries. So I feel like they toned down how hard these were to do, whereas before, like, there were a lot of 2 AP actions or even just actions in general. They're more about sneaking around or pairing up models, like the hunter prey thing. And I'm really glad they got rid of Deadly Marksman because it was not interactive. Because you have really good gunfighters in the game that can go and just like eliminate a model and then just hide for the rest of the game and you'll never get to them. So it was like an almost like auto 2 points. So overall, I'm really happy with the design these have taken. They're easier to achieve, they're easier to wrap your head around, and they dive into what's in here. Overall, for the critical ops, as far as like, was it necessary? It feels a little bit like a mid-edition FAQ, which is fine. It doesn't, like I said at the beginning, you don't need to play with these. You can just play with what you have in your box still and not really worry about it. But if you're playing match play, and you wanted these to be updated, there's some quality of life improvements like the cards. Overall, I think they took a look at what was working and wasn't working Tac Ops style, because it's a third of your scoring, right? If you go into 20 and you have 6 points in Tac Ops, and it's also supposed to be like the flavor of the team, right? It's supposed to be the thing that's like tied into like the way your team's supposed to win, because some people can do security, some people do seek and destroy. I think that needs to be, in newer teams, that needs to be emphasized. Like, make a team that's all about infiltrating, make a team that's not all about killing people. And yeah, and this is a good pick up and play pack. So if you just have the core rulebook and this, again, you don't necessarily, I guess you still have to buy the assets box because you need the barricades and you need the measuring. Well, you don't really need the measuring tools, but you do kind of need the measuring tools. But this kind of replaces the like essentials box a little bit if you have that stuff. You could buy the core book and buy these and be ready to rock and roll, ready to play. Which is kind of nice because then you have the Tac Ops cards, which I think are really important. The size change I'm ambivalent about because I already had these, but I think some people might care that you can't just sleeve them Magic style anymore to make them nice and versatile. But overall, if you play, like, I like playing the game narratively, so this doesn't impact me a bunch. I would say for a narrative player, it's like, it's just a non-issue. You could update these if you want, like 5 out of 10, because you're not necessarily going to need them, you know what I mean? You can just play with what you have and keep playing narratively because you don't necessarily care about the balance of the Tac Ops. Match play players, I'd say this is like a 7 to 8 out of 10. I think there's some quality of life improvements. If you go to the game store really often and play a lot of pickup games of Kill Team, then this is going to be a thing you probably want to get. I think it's going to be, and you like playing it competitively and you're worried about playing it competitively, then I think this is like a really good quality of life improvement. And a lot of thought went into updating these cards in particular. As far as just like imaginative goes, it's 3 different stand next to the buttons, symmetrical deployments, right? And then reference sheets, you know what I mean? Like quick reference sheets. So is it particularly interesting? No. But that's the point of like competitive match play, right? It's supposed to be about standing next to buttons and standing in circles and pushing things. So if that's the way that you're excited about playing, then I think this is a really good quality of life improvement for you. And I will play it that way too, because like there will be a time at a convention or in a game store where I'm going to play a pickup game of Kill Team, and I'm going to want something that I can play with a stranger and we can just quickly generate a game that's random and then play with. So I think there's some value there. I think that this is a really good, like, as opposed to just patching it with like an FAQ and a bunch of like write on your card stuff, I'm happy they just did an asset thing. I hope that this is all reprinted in the annual for 2022 or 2023, because I feel like just codifying this somewhere that you can get later on is going to be important, because this stuff, it tends to come and then it's hard to find afterwards. So yeah, so don't sleep on it, because I doubt you'll be able to, there'll be a point where this has been printed and then disappear because Kill Team's popular. And my hope is that then this gets ratified into like a standard, we reprint all the Tac Ops in the books at some point, you know what I mean? Because it's not like they need a new edition of this game right now and the core books just come out, but an annual with like a, or like the thing that they're doing where like now they're doing like a GT pack, you know what I mean, for 40K, like something that codifies this basically in print so you don't have to worry about this all the time. I think would be awesome, because it's a cool little like quick ref. Now the only problem is I think when I sleeve these, they're not going to fit anymore. Do they still fit? Oh, they do! Sick! All right, I'm happy. I can sleeve my cards and they still fit in the box. Perfect, because if you sleeve them and put them in this before, they didn't fit. No, they're too, oh, I mean, they kind of fit. No, it's bowing out. No, it didn't work. It didn't work. Yay, I can sleeve my cards and they'll still fit. Yeah, so if you're looking for these, once again, Board Game Sleeves is the company. Tarot size is the size you're looking for. I get the matte ones. They're great. Pack of 50 should do all these, and you'll be ready to rock and roll. And keep your cards nice. So there you go. Look at Critical Ops, Tac Ops, and Mission cards for Warhammer 40K Kill Team. Am I going to use these a ton? I mean, yeah, but probably to play narratively, you know what I mean? Still, like, we like playing the Spec Ops missions. They're our favorite. But I'll definitely play these at some point to match play. I'll give them a go. I'll play all 3 missions at some point on camera, just so you guys can see what the game looks like playing these, and so I can test out some of my other different factions and stuff I haven't played with in a while. So there you go. Big thanks for watching. We'll see you for more GMG reviews in the future. Till then, I'm Ash. Double game. Hey there, I hope you enjoyed that video. There are tons of other games already recorded for you to watch. Click over to my channel page if you haven't already, and have a look through the dozens of playlists full of videos. I guarantee you'll discover a game you haven't seen played before. I put out new videos 7 days a week, and every day is themed to a different genre as I continue to explore the wider world of gaming. Of course, none of that's possible without you, the viewer, so click a like and subscribe if you'd like to stay on top of what's happening here daily. My 2 kids and I are massively grateful to be able to have the flexibility of this job so I can always maximize my time with them. If you want to support me continuing to put out this content, it's only possible because of my amazing backers on Patreon who support the studio, equipment, and model cost, as well as being how I make the bulk of my living. You can also help out by buying a t-shirt through Spreadshirt, a measuring gauge or widget from Death Ray Designs, or buying one of my games and supplements like Last Days, Gamma Wolves, and Blaster. As a way of showing my appreciation, patrons get early access to new games and supplements that I write throughout the course of the year. Huge thanks for watching, it really does help out, and happy gaming.